And welcome back to BizAsia America. I'm Michelle McCory at the NASDAQ market site in Times Square, New York. Intel is trying to crack the online media business. The company is a household name in computer chip making, but now it's set its sights on becoming a major competitor in the world of television. Mark Niu joins us live from Silicon Valley for the latest development. Mark.
Michelle, there are three main categories in the TV market. There are the sort of traditional providers, like cable and satellite companies like Comcast, Dish, or Xfinity. And then there are their content producers like HBO or ESPN, which also have online content too. And then there's the so-called pure play TV providers like Netflix and Hulu, which have online streaming services, among other things. But Intel is about to get into that game too, and they may create a fourth category. Intel is developing a web TV service and box that will launch later this year. Intel says it's working with the entire industry to deliver broadcast live television and cable programming all via the internet.
The recent announcement by Intel is an example of somebody who's going to bring their own set-top box and their own full end-to-end service to really supplant fully the traditional TV service.
A BCG study found that 40% of consumers would consider dropping their current TV service or reducing features in their plans, but they need a better option.
That's a monstrously difficult thing, and it's not a technological problem, it's a licensing problem. It's a how do you get the content and how do you pay for the content in such a way that you can then charge people for your service. It's something that's not more than their cable bill.
BCG says the trickiest obstacle is getting rights to live events, especially sports that have exclusive contracts. But DeGrande says it's not insurmountable because content players have proven they're willing to sell rights to multiple players to maximize revenues. Intel also wants to differentiate itself from the competition by offering a box that can recognize who is watching the TV.
The camera technology or the facial recognition technology many people have talked about is a way to identify individuals in a household so that you can customize the experience. You can apply algorithms to really suggest content to individuals in the household that they may want to watch, what the teenage son may want to watch relative to the mom at any given moment can be pre-programmed for them.
It feels too invasive to me. It feels like, you know, you're no longer just on a camera in a store, you're on a camera in your own home. And, you know, how do I know that that information doesn't get sold to somebody else?
If Intel is to succeed, consumers may have to get comfortable with watching TV while the TV is watching you. BCG also provided some data that shows how hot this space is. The average American household has 2.9 connected devices in the home. That's expected to jump to 4.1 in just a few years. And when homes have at least 2 devices, they tend to consume a whopping 50% more online media. Michelle.
Mark, we've already got services like Netflix and Hulu, and they provide a lot of content already. So what is Intel's plan to differentiate itself?
Well, the main thing would be live events and live sporting events, which Hulu and Netflix do not have. Intel media boss Eric Huggers also used to work for the BBC. He said that they might have something similar to what the BBC had in iPlayer, whereby everything on BBC is up for 7 days in the cloud, so you can always access it. You won't have to worry about missing your show and recording it. We have on demand in this country, in the US, but it's sort of cherry picking shows, and you can't feel guaranteed that it's going to be there. Now, he also promises a leap in technology with the interface of 10 to 20 years. That includes the camera face recognition device that I mentioned in the story. A lot of people might find that creepy, but you think about it, our phones, laptops, and tablets all have a camera on it. The difference is that it isn't on all the time, but you will have the option to shut it off. Michelle.
Mark, not sure I like that TV watching me watching TV feature. Thanks so much, Mark Niu, live in Silicon Valley.